Alright, Playboys, we back. And we got some more fake content here. So, we have two remix banners to take a look at. We got this one here with Hell, and then we got this one here with Mirabilis. So, what we're going to do is just take a look at all these colors and see if anything is worth summoning for on these banners. And then I'm just going to give you guys my recommendations. If there is a good color to snipe, I'll tell you which ones it is. Now, spoiler alert. I don't think you should be summoning on these banners at all. Not one of them. Like, either of them, I don't think are worthwhile. The actual remix banners, I don't usually do videos on these, but the one that we had last time from Legendary Selif's remix was actually, like, a really goddamn good banner, because it had Legendary Selif color sharing with Rearmed Ophelia. Now, obviously, Selif's remix turned him into a god, right? And I summoned pretty hard on that banner. That's one of the reasons why I'm currently facing the orb deficit that I'm in. But if we go over to, where would it be? Managed Barracks and then My Manuals, right? So we can take a look. I summoned Selif 3 times on that banner. Actually, I summoned him 4 times, but I used one to merge into my Selif so I could erase his Bane. So I pulled 4 copies of Selif. I pulled 2 copies of Rearmed Ophelia. My Ophelia is now at +8. And then I also ended up pulling 2 copies of Alfred, too, because out of nowhere, they just threw Alfred on that banner. So that banner actually had double rearmed heroes, which is nuts. Like, they really don't do that too often. And with really good color shares as well. We can see my 2 Alchris right there. I haven't decided who I want to fodder him off to yet. I might give him, like, something good like Gambit 4. Because there's not too many skills that Alfred can really give. So if I give him Gambit 4, I think I'd be able to, like, just pass that around pretty easily to everybody and not have to worry too much about not being able to pick up anything else. And then Ophelia, like I said, I got 2 more copies of her, so she's at +8 now. Only 2 more to go, and then she's finished. So let's quickly take a look at these banners here. We're going to start with the Hell banner because we have the one and only rearmed hero who's going to be on either of these banners, and that happens to be Ganglot here. Now, Ganglot is obviously a very good hero. She's the only infantry melee rearmed hero, so you're free to give her a lot of good skills. Like, for example, just 1 inherit from this unit right here, and then all of a sudden your Ganglot is a god of fodder. You're going to be able to build up pretty much all of your god swords and god axes and god lances in one shot. So that's the really good thing about Ganglot. You can also give her godlike reflexes and Vital Astra and Ruptured Sky and like all of those good specials. So Ganglot is invaluable when it comes to actually being a good fodder unit. However, Ganglot herself is not really the best unit. There's not too many things you really want to be doing with a unit like this. She actually lacks a perf skill. I don't think this is like something that most of the rearmed heroes do. Usually they will have the arcane weapon and then some sort of perf skill. But in this particular case, Ganglot does not have that. She's just all a bunch of skills that are just gold border skills for inheritance, and they're not particularly crazy ones either. Like Quick Repost 4 is one of the weakest gold border skills. Join Distant Guard it's okay actually, it's not the worst, but it's not one of the best C-slot passives, so there is that. And then Distant Stance is okay, but we literally just got Distant Attack Speed Solo and Attack and Speed Prime, which I think are better. We're probably going to get like Defense and Res Prime and Defense and Res Solo Distant at some point. So those would just be way better than this, and it really devalues the value of this skill here. So I don't think this is the best banner to go for to try to get your Ganglot copies. Another reason why is because of Hell. Now, there's not any knocks against Hell here. She got an okay refine, but it's kind of underwhelming in the long haul. Really, the only effect they gave her that I thought was unique was the ability to warp to enemies instead of allies. But her actual refine, like her weapon refine, wasn't the craziest. They just gave her a passive heal, just like Mystic Boost, so she can re-up Miracle, which only activates against physical damaging opponents, so magical enemies still bypass her Miracle anyway. And then also they gave her like null follow-up and stuff, so I'm not particularly interested in this Hell as a unit. Plus, she's a defense mythic hero, and those are always worse to get merges on, because what you really want to go for is the offensive mythic heroes, because they just innately raise the score that you can get by playing Aether Raid's offense. Whereas the defense mythic heroes, It's like, big deal. Okay, I lose less lift when I lose a fight, but why not just make a good defense that is not going to lose? Instead of having like a plus 10 defense mythic hero, you know? So like, I'm a little bit down on these defense mythic heroes. I've always been. So I would say this is not really the best banner to go for Ganglot on. Then on red, we have Harid and also Ryoma. Both of them are very middling legendary heroes that aren't really the greatest. I mean, they can both offer support. He's got his B skill, which can do a lot of debuffs. And then this guy can also run Guidance 4 or Soaring Guidance. So they're not going to be like complete nobodies if you deploy them at plus 10 in legendary seasons, but they're certainly not winning any awards, right? That's what I'm trying to say. Then we've got Tiki and Lucina. I have Tiki at plus 10. She is my Earth Season hero, and I can just tell y'all right now, she does not cut it anymore. Really, the only thing I do with her is just have her give defense and res up 6 for the most part, and then keep her far away. I do not want her using far save because everything is going to blow her up in arena. She has no way to deal with, like, duo Crom. I mean, I guess you could give her, like, Slick Fighter, and then that would help her a little bit, but she doesn't nullify effective damage types, and there's just so many crazy player phase units. Lucina's actually pretty solid. I do like Future Vision. It doesn't score as high as to Change Fate for some reason. I don't know why they played favorites like that so bad with Crom. But this Lucina is actually a pretty good unit. She is a bow unit, so you can give her Deadeye and a bunch of other skills to cut DR or nullify DR, like Physical Null Follow-Up or Special Spiral 4. So she's got options. She's not like a total wash, and she can play her phase decently well. The Future Vision support is nice, being able to get people out of the way, and then you can do it twice in a row too, so it's not like to Change Fate where you get isolated after using it once. So she's solid, but not worth going for when this is her color share partner. And then we talked about green, and then finally on colorless we've got Milla, and then we also have Elincia here. So Elincia is good. She's got a whole bunch of these new staff skills going on here. So Light's Restraint, pretty good special for staffs. And then, of course, Dazzling Shift, a very nice upgrade to Dazzling Staff 4. Not every unit wants it. Like, Cavalry staff units don't really care too much for this one. What they would rather have is Poetic Justice, but it is what it is. Still a very good unit. I like using this unit for usability as well, because her weapon gives her a ton of damage and also gives her some support effects to allies in 2 spaces. And then Milla is just good because of pretty much just isolation. And her support effect is pretty good too. After you refine her, she gives like all stats of 4 to your allies. And she can nullify enemies' bonuses to attack for those allies when they're in combat. So that's pretty strong support. She is a good offensive mythic hero to use. So colorless is probably the best color on this banner. I guess not. We can't take away from green. Ganglot is just solo carrying green here. So that would be my thoughts there. And then finally on this banner now, another defense mythic hero is on here, which I think is a little bit of a misstep, but she is color sharing with the other really good unit on the banner, which is Byleth. So if you were to double dip and get 1 copy of Byleth and then however many copies of Ganglot you can, that would just be this many amounts of god units built up in one go. So that is very strong, and you can't underlook that. But Mirabilis being a defense mythic hero, she's certainly a better one than Hell, I would say. She is a dancer at the very least. But her refine turned her into a fighter for some reason. So I don't know why they did that. I guess I do know why they did that, because they don't want the Flyers to just get all these dance support skills and stuff. But that's okay. Okay, and then on blue, we've got Theorm, who's literally the worst water hero. She might just straight up be the worst legendary hero, period. And she is color sharing with Peony here, who is actually a pretty good offensive mythic hero. She's about as good as Milla, I would say, just having a dancer, but then also her remix was solid. She can nullify penalties after dancing. She gives the warp effect, and then she gives a really nice support effect to allies in the same cardinal direction as her. So she's pretty good. She's a very good offensive mythic hero. Then on green, we have Yune and Legendary Hector, both of which are not like super spectacular. Yune is a nice debuff unit. As far as stats are concerned, this is probably the single strongest debuffing skill in terms of stats. But we want to be doing debuffs that also come with effects. So things like feud and panic and like undefended and stuff like that, stall as well. Like, those are the things we would be looking for. Things that disrupt enemy movement or really disrupt their stats even further than just doing stats and panic. And then Hector is okay. He's my plus 10 fire season hero, and he's very old, and his age does definitely show. I just use him as a Gale Force option. I give him like Bold Fighter for the seal, and then I give him Gale Force for the special, so he can kind of like at least player phase to a degree. And then Gale Force is just usually pretty helpful. Ocean Pulse also gets him pretty consistent with that Gale Force if he hits twice with Bold Fighter. So it can work, but it's not recommended by any means. This guy is just absolutely showing his age at this point. And then finally on colorless, we have Legendary Leaf and Legendary Alm. Once again, I would probably... Well, no, I can't say colorless is better than this. Red is certainly the best color on this one, but colorless has both Legendary Leaf and Legendary Alm, and they're both really good. I mean, this guy ate really well with Flared Sparrow, because he can do the same thing as Gulveg, essentially, where he has Gale Force, he's a range type unit, and then he can move again and attack again, and the second time you attack, that Flared Sparrow damage is going up. So he does have that in his pocket. He's also a very nice pair-up legendary for Allegiance battles, if you care about that sort of thing. And then Legendary Alm's still one of the better player phase units. If you support her up with Bride Catria, she can also grant him Desperation with her Harmonic skill, which can be pretty helpful. And then you can give him, like, Physical Null Follow-Up or Special Spiral 4, or like any of the God Tier B skills that we've been getting lately. You can give him a ton of good A skills like Flash Sparrow or Hexblade or anything like that, and he's just good to go. He is ready. So, a very, very strong player phase unit for legendaries. And he's also a pair-up hero just like Leaf, although I do prefer Leaf for Allegiance battles, so there is that. So that wraps us up for these two remix banners. Like I said earlier at the start of the video, I don't think this is worth summoning on. You can definitely get better value elsewhere. And we are literally about to get a trailer in 2 days. On the 13th, we are getting the trailer for presumably the rearmed Plumeria banner. And I'm expecting Plumeria is going to come with her unique dance skill. I think that's probably going to be her perf. And then for passives, they could just really be nice and give her Soaring Guidance or give her Firestorm Dance 3. So that's what you would really want to save up your orbs for. And also, Plumeria has a really good rearmed weapon, whereas Ganglot's rearmed weapon, it's nice, but it's not like the God Axe that we're looking for yet. It doesn't have null follow-up, so they will eventually do a God Axe, and by extension, another melee-type rearmed hero, so we may be able to get a better option for inheriting all of those God tier skills on a better infantry hero. So that's my coverage for these banners, guys. Once again, I reiterate, do not summon on these unless there's something here that you really, really want, or you're like a huge fan, it's your favorite character, then by all means. But if you are a min-maxer like me, and you just want to summon for the best possible stuff to get the best value of your orbs, this is not the place to do that. So this is your boy Tacho signing out. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Check out Oblivion's channel. Yesterday I put out well, I didn't put it out, but I was on Oblivion's show. We did a little podcast session style tier list for all the Choose Your Legends heroes. So definitely make sure you check that video out. And this is your boy Tacho signing out, guys. So take care, and I'll catch y'all again on the flip side.